أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah jameen, and thank you very much for joining us on this session, Essential Rules of Umrah Mufridah and Etiquette of Visiting Medina. It is good to see that, mashallah, many of us are heading for Umrah. This is one of the very good things, as you see, inshallah, as we cover this course, this webinar. It is a very good thing. In fact, I believe that it is a good investment. I know many of the people do go for Ziyarah to Karbala, which is also good. But the way, for example, as we know that there are 6 Imams buried in Iraq, there are also 6 Masoom buried in Medina, right? So keep that in mind that Medina is the only place where there are 6 Masoom buried there. And of course, you go for Umrah, you also go for visit Kaaba. So it is a very good thing. I really pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may Allah take you there safely. May Allah give you the ability to perform your Umrah well. And may you come back, inshallah, safely and be with your family, inshallah. So we are thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this opportunity to do this presentation. And especially Brother Murtaza had suggested that he was going with a few family members. So I thought that let me just open this for everyone. And I was surprised, mashallah, almost more than 40 people have registered. And now we've got 34 people who already are in the room. Let's begin as usual that we start with the ayat of Quran. Keep in mind, brothers and sisters, so often we are very much preoccupied with the rituals. That means how things should be. But then in the process of performing rituals, we forget that there is a spirit, there is a spiritual part of it, which also should be considered. So there's an ayat of Quran which was revealed in the context of Hajj. And Allah Matabai quotes this ayat. He says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ يَعْلَمْهُ اللَّهُ وَتَزَوَّدُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى وَاتَّقُونِ يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Allah says that whatever good you do, Allah knows about it. Of course, we know this thing, right? Everybody knows that Allah is all-knowing, whether you do good or bad. But in this case, Allah is saying whatever good you do, Allah knows about it. There is something we may be overlooking, and that's why. Because we know that since we're in Madrasa, we were taught that Allah is seeing everything what we do. We know, for example, when we were children, we were told by our teachers, go home and take this candy and eat it when nobody can see, right? So some of us, did take the candy, for example, whilst, for example, being in the room or in a washroom or under the bed, all those things. But a few of them were smart who came and said that, no, I could not find a place where Allah cannot see me. So Allah always sees us. Why would Allah then say that whatever good you do, Allah is aware of it? No. Allah knows about it. Why? It's because there are certain good things which we tend to overlook. And one of those are, for example, when we perform the ibadat, whether it is namaz, whether it is umrah, whether it is ziyarat, whether it is hajj, whether any of those things, which we do, we sometimes tend to be so much concerned about the rituals and forgetting the spirit part of it. So you can see Allah says, whatever good you do, Allah knows it. And just seek provision. That means prepare yourself as you are doing. That many of you are going for Umrah soon, inshallah, and you are preparing. One of the preparation is that you're attending this, for example, webinar, right? So Allah says, and of course, in all this, subhanAllah, besides saying that, okay, prepare, but it says the best preparation is what? Taqwa, righteousness. But keep in mind that as we travel, for example, from Toronto or from London or anywhere, all the way you go to Medina or Jeddah or anywhere you stop, at every stage you are going to go through different stages and meet so many people. In the process, sometimes we tend to forget taqwa because we are so much concerned about our comfort. In the process, we forget that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there. Keep in mind. So Allah says the best, of course, preparation is taqwa. But takuni al-bab. And of course, again, He says, and be mindful of me, or you who possess intellects. So you can imagine that every stage, be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, especially now that you are going for Umrah, which is you're going to a house which is attributed as his house. Of course, the whole world is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah does not need a house to live, but it is such a holy house that it is attributed as Allah's house, right? So it is, always be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allama Tabatabai, who is a great commentator of the Quran, he has actually given us idea. He says, verses 196 to 203 in this surah Al-Baqarah were revealed during Hajj al-Wida. That was the last Hajj the Prophet performed, which by he also, it was last Hajj, and also he showed them practically how to do Hajj, right? It is a reminder that one's actions are not hidden from Allah. It calls one to piety and fear of Allah, right? Then he says, why? He says, so that one's act of worship might not be devoid of the spirit of devotion. You see? So there is something which is ritual, devotion, but there is also spirit of devotion. So for example, let's say that I fast, we fast, the month of Ramadan or Muslim fast, we fast, right? So what we do, we make sure that we don't want to eat, we don't drink, all those things which makes fast batil, we stay away from that. But in the process, when I'm fasting, for example, God forbid, I backbite, I lie, I look at non-haram things, all those things, I do this. This may not break my fast, but the spirit of fasting is missed, right? Or for example, when I open my fast, I eat so much that now I'm just, as if I did a ihsan on myself and Allah, that now I want to take a revenge, so I just overeat. All these things are considered as going against the essence of the fasting, because fasting has been made wajib for a certain reason. So if we all look and just concerned about that, in the same way, for example, going to Khane Kaaba, going for Umrah, going to Ziyarah, has certain reasons, certain kind of wisdom behind it. We all look at that and we are more concerned about just the ritual. So this is what Al-Matwa says, that it calls one to piety and fear of Allah, so that one's acts of worship, like for example, going for Umrah or Ziyarah, might not be devoid. It should not lack the spirit of devotion. You see, so that is very important. And I'm glad that you have taken this trouble to be here. Keep that in mind, so that one might not go through the external rites of worship, as he said, in one's mind, and with one's mind absent and one's heart forgetful. Externally, you're doing fine. You're doing tawaf. Externally, you're doing, but the mind and the heart is forgetful for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you're doing tawaf, you're so much concerned about, there is rush. How can I protect myself? Or what is this now? Or for example, I start thinking about, now that I'm away from my family, what will be happening? We are forgetting that, subhanAllah, you're in such a holiest place. At that time, do not have, for example, in your mind, don't be absent, and the heart should not be absent of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Knowledge without practice has no value in Islam. That is why this exhortation to piety and fear of Allah was immediately followed by the words, and fear me, O people of understanding, right? So Allah said, and fear me and be mindful of me. So this will be as good as an introduction. Okay? So these are some of the items we plan to cover during the first 30 or 30 minutes, and then open for question. Preparation for departure, essential things during the trip. Dhikr during Umrah Mufridah, essential rules, Ziyarat of Medina, significant station. Do not abandon Tahajjud Salat if you can, right? Spiritual benefits of Ziyarat and Umrah, and outside Ziyarat Makkah. All those things I'm not sure if we might have changed, but at least we'll do questions answer at the end. No? So whatever we can cover is fine. Otherwise, we will see how much we can cover during the question answer session. Okay. So we go to the next slide. Before you depart, whenever you are going, right? Mental and spiritual preparedness. It's very important that you are both prepared mentally and spiritually. Mentally and spiritually. What happens, I know many people, because alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed me with going for Hajj and Ziyarat number of times. And I see people are so busy at their work that they tell their wives or family members, please keep my bag ready. I'm going to work today. Our flight is 8 p.m. I'll come at 5 p.m. Just get ready, freshen up and go. So till 5 p.m., 4:30 p.m., at least 3 hours before the flight, he or she is still at work. That does not help, my brothers and sisters. No, not at all. That means physically you want to go, but you also need to be prepared mentally and spiritually. And that happens through all this, for example, we are discussing. They try to think where you are going, why you are going there, what you are going to. The best thing is just take a piece of paper and let's write it down. That what am I going to achieve? What my plans are as I'm going for Umrah? What am I, I'm trying to achieve? And just note it down. And when you come back, see that if those things are there or not, right? One of the things, of course, is important that whenever we go for any trip, but especially for Umrah or Ziyarah or Hajj, make sure that you have your will ready. Okay? So there is a book, Writing Islamic Will by Mulana Sayyid Rizvi. You can go to his website, which has all the information. Try to prepare the will. In fact, if you email them, they can also help you in checking your will. So it is important to prepare a will. It's very important. We have on our own website of academyislam.com, we have samples of Islamic will. One which was prepared by Manana, one which was prepared by ourselves is there. So you can just download those samples and just fill those things and keep it ready, okay, with you. Try to contact family, friends, and peers to forgive your errors, mistakes, and excesses. We are human beings, right? We make mistakes. Sometimes we say things out of anger. Sometimes we things, for example, people might not have liked it, or we didn't think about it well, right? We just say, in the process, we hurt somebody's feelings, or sometimes we want to do it deliberately, just to be sarcastic, right? So try to contact. This is the best time. Don't hesitate. There's so and so, I'm going for Umrah. I might have done something. I might have done something. Please forgive me. Don't wait till, for example, when I die, then at that time somebody's going to do on my behalf. No, that's too late, right? How good it is that you do it in your own lifetime. That we tell somebody that yes, we work together. We work together, for example, we work together in madrasa, at work, all those things, and things we didn't agree how to do things. But please forgive me. I'm going for a holy trip. I would like to be as peaceful and in mind and also clean as possible, right? So do this thing. Try to read relevant literature or listen to lectures. MashaAllah, in this day of age, there are so many literature and so much lectures on YouTube for big scholars, great scholars. You can just try to listen to them. Do that. It will really help you. Believe me, I'm telling you, I have been lecturing for the last 35, 37 years. But even today, when I go and listen to a good lecture, it even helps me today. It helps me, for example, I want to do something, or it's something new I learn. Even at this age, in spite of all this, when I prepare lecture, I put a lot of time to prepare it. Even then, there's always there, right? So try to do this thing to really help you, to prepare you spiritually. Men folk, this is important. Amongst these today, those who are present and those who are going for Umrah, men folk, they need to practice being in the state, in the clothing of Ihram. It's not easy. You think that, it's just 2 pieces of cloth and just tying it. No. Especially you are just going for Umrah, but people go for Hajj because you stay in Ihram for long, so difficult. So make sure that you know how to put on Ihram, and you can walk in Ihram, and you can rest in Ihram, you can all those things see properly. Because I know people, for example, who were wearing Ihram, and because they had not practiced when they were doing Umrah, the whole time, honestly, I'm telling you, I know people, entire time when they were doing Tawaf, their only concern was just holding the Ihram, it will not just go down. That was their concern, because they were never worn Ihram, so now it is, there's a kind of phobia that it may just open up and come out, it will be embarrassing for me. So he's more concerned about just guarding his Ihram instead of doing ibadat and zikr. So try to just wear Ihram, be in your home, for example, just wear Ihram and just walk in Ihram. So that will give you some kind of practice, right? You know that you are already. Because next flight, as you fly to Jeddah or Medina or a middle point, for example, via Dubai or via Turkey, whatever it is, there are 3 things I always advise myself in such trips. One is what prayers, patience, and perseverance. Prayers is very important. When you say prayers, it includes everything. Salat includes zikr, dua, istighfar, all those things, right? Patience. We need patience because you come across so many people, different kind of people, right? Sometimes people, unfortunately, are mean, or sometimes people do not realize that what they are doing is actually, hurting others or is distracting others. They don't realize it, honestly. So we need patience, right? Instead of just commenting or saying that, oh, this person is not civilized, or this is what he's doing. No, don't do that. Even, for example, you are sitting next to your spouse and you just even just whisper to him or her, it's already given, honestly. You're not announced to anybody, you just whisper to your spouse, but that has become given. It doesn't make sense that you're going for a holy trip in the process, we talk about others. No? So we need a lot of patience, right? And perseverance, of course. As you persevere, as you do things, certain things you have to do again and again to keep the patience, do prayers, all those things. But try to persevere, right? And Allah says beautifully in the Quran, Bismillah, He clearly says, seek help through patience and prayer, right? And truly it is hard, except for the humble ones, you can see. So in other words, to maintain the prayers and patience, Allah says, is not easy for everybody. It is hard for them to mention. Except those who are humble ones. If you already train your soul to remain humble, then of course you'll find it easy, right? A lot of dhikr, tasbih, istighfar, right? Try to do dhikr, tasbih, istighfar as much as possible. I like those 5 dhikr which all of us know. Bismillah, for example. One is, of course, salawat, right? Salawat is a beautiful dhikr. Another is la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah azim. Another is la ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin. Another is astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh. Or tasbiyat arba subhanallahi walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah. These 5 dhikr, each of these dhikr are so powerful. I can give you a whole class just on each dhikr. As we are going to the whole class today, webinar on Umrah, we can discuss. These are so powerful. No? So try to spend your time in zikr, tasbih, istighfar. Try to read good, good reading on board. Avoid film watching to pass time. I really sometimes I go for Hajj, I see people, even when they're going for Hajj or Ziyarat, they still have the habit of watching those movies, and because now it's free and you can watch anything. Subhanallah, whole life is there. Now you're heading to a holy place. Try to read something good, listen something good, right? Listen something good instead of just watching these movies. As you know, most of these things are not even real things, right? These are just for entertainment purpose. Why do you want to waste your time in that? No? So especially when you're going towards this trip, take a good rest whenever you can. Yeah, because in the plane, for example, if you can rest, then do that. It will help you because that way you have the strength when you go there. You've got that energy and strength. That you can then spend more time in ibadat, right? When you are in the holy places. So take your rest as you are lying, right? Train to be humble. Imams used to walk to Makkah for days in the hot sun to maintain humility. Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, subhanAllah. We are told in their lives, they perform 25 to 26 Hajj in their life. Out of that, about 20 times, they walked from Medina to Makkah. It's not that they could not afford. It's just that humility, that I'm going to the house of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will see, inshallah, if you're going to Medina and as you go by train or by flight or by bus to Makkah, you will see how long it takes, how far it is. They used to walk those distances during those days. Imagine how much difficult it must be. But why? Just to show that humility, right? And not once, 20 times in their life. Brothers and sisters, imagine these are imams whom we adore, right? Whom we remember all the time, right? These are the practices of the imam. No? So let us try to be as humble as possible, because symbolically, when you are in Kaaba, right, you are the closest, or in the presence of Allah. The closest you can come to Allah physically is when you're in Kaaba. Allah does not have a body, right? Does not, of course. Allah is everywhere. But symbolically, because He's so holy that on this earth, if you want to be nearest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you are near Kaaba, right? So you can imagine that you are near to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let us be prepared for that, have that kind of preparation, right? It really help. We go to the next slide. Yes, one thing which I also noticed during my trips to Hajj and Umrah and Ziyarat, people tend to take their wajib salat lightly. Why? They think that I say namaz every day, 5 times a day. Now, this is a special trip. So once in a while, for example, if I make it qaza, or if I miss it, it's not a big deal. That's what we think, right? That is our judgment, that what is a big deal not. Listen to what Imam says. Imam says, this is the 6th Imam, and I've deliberately taken trouble, pain to get the references to this hadith. So it's not only here, sir. I've given two big books. Tahzib al-Ahkam is a great book, and also Wasail al-Shia. These are the great books. Wasail al-Shia is a book every mujtahid goes through this Wasail al-Shia and learns it to be able to come with fatwa, right? So there you can see Imam Sadiq says, no, Hajjatun afdal min ad-dunya wa ma fiha. Hajj, going to Hajj is better than whatever is in this world, and whatever is better than the world and whatever is in there, right? Was salatun faridatun, and a wajib prayer is better than, min alfi hajjatan, is better than 1,000 Hajj. Mustawal, you can imagine. So that is the status of wajib prayers. How would I allow it to go it, or waste it, or just miss it? So don't do that. No? So we've given you by the way, this slides will be posted on our website. Okay, so don't worry, it will be there. We've given you here a reference whereby Ayatollah Sistani, some youths had gone to him to visit him during Arbaeen, and they said, please advise us. So there are good pieces of advice. One of them is in this link is there. You can see advice is there. It puts a lot of emphasis about not missing prayers during your trips. It's there, you can read yourself. As I said, I don't want to talk more. I'll try to answer the question. When to say salat on board? Sometimes we may be required to say salat on board. So one, of course, is if you are scheduled to arrive at your destination, let's say you're going to Jeddah, or you're flying to Medina, or whatever it is, or even, for example, you're stopping on the way to London or Dubai, whatever it is, early enough to go through the security, perform wudu, determine Qibla, and find a suitable place to say your prayers, then you're allowed to, say your prayers at the destination, provided they do not get qaza. So in other words, let's say that you are on board traveling, and it is 2 p.m., right? When namaz, or 1:30 p.m. for example, namaz becomes wajib. But by the time you reach Dubai, by the time you reach, for example, Jeddah, by the time you reach Istanbul, you will, inshallah, reach there at say 6 p.m. And you know that, as an example, the namaz gets qaza at 6:30 p.m. or 7 p.m., as an example, right? So do you think that that time which I have when I land my plane until that time that, I get all these things done, there's enough time, then I can delay, I'm allowed. Otherwise, you cannot take chance. Also, on the other hand, even if you know that you're going to reach there on time, the moment prayer time kicks in, for example, as you are flying, you can say your namaz. You can say your namaz following what all the rules are there, which also has been discussed on website, on the slides, but later on, if there is question, Otherwise, you also go and try to go to our website and see the past presentations on Hajj and Umrah and Ziyarat. We'll discuss those things in detail, okay? So keep these 2 points, that either if you think that namaz is going to get qaza before you reach there, then you must say namaz on board, or even you want to say namaz on board on time. So once the time kicks in and you say namaz, that's fine. You don't have to repeat namaz again. Yeah. These are some of the spiritual aspects of Ziyarat. One is, what should be your niyat? So it is important. Of course, I'm not, in the next slide is not there, but we have discussed in the past. So what should be your niyat? Keep in mind. What are the, we trying to achieve? Keep in mind, right? What is the significance of visiting Haram? Or, for example, Umrah, or whatever it is, right? How can Ziyarat trip help my spirits? Reflect on the passage when going to Haram. When you go to, for example, Medina or Jannat al-Baqi, right, as you are going, there's a beautiful passage, right, we recite, and try to memorize this thing. Brothers and sisters, it's not a big thing. Bismillahi wa billahi wa fi sabilillahi wa ala millati rasulillahi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rabbi ghfirli warhamni wa tub alayya innaka anta at-tawwabur rahim. Right? Bismillahi wa billahi. In the name of Allah, and billahi, and with the help of Allah, right? Wa fi sabilillah, and in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ala millati rasulillah, and on following the practice of Rasulullah. Rabbi ghfirli. That means you are doing this following the Rasulullah. Rabbi ghfirli, oh Allah, forgive me. Warhamni, and have mercy on me. Wa tub alayya, and accept my tawbah. Innaka anta at-tawwabur rahim, because you are all forgiving and all merciful, right? And then, of course, we said, because you are going there, it's always good when it comes to dua. It's always good that during dua, we try to include others. The only time we will not change if it's ayat of Quran. So this is not ayat, this is dua. So then change it, for example. Rabbi ghfirli وَلِوَالِدَيَّ, oh Allah, forgive me and my parents. وَالْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and believers. وَارْحَمْنَا, and have mercy on us. وَتُبْ عَلَيْنَا, and have not accept our tawbah. إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ. So you see, so what I've done, I'll change this dua slightly from singular to plural. That way we pray for our parents as well as pray for others. Okay, so keep that in mind. This is beautiful. Of course, although I'll say here next slide, but this the slide on what on niyat and other things, we will today not cover because of we want to cover the masails on what Umrah, that's why. But on our website, these slides are there if you see the past. Okay, we go to the next slide. The niyat and objective of ziyarat. Keep this in mind. Right? This purify your intention. It's very important that we are going there purely for the sake of visiting, the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to do the ziyarat of Rasulullah, right? We want to do this. So having ikhlas is very important. Sincerity is very, very important. Hadith, I'm not saying that. Ziyarat should be 100% for the pleasure of Allah and for revering the Ahlul Bayt. For example, we should not perform pilgrimage so that we are called Hajis or Zaid. Somebody wants to be, Hajj, Hasanayn, or Zaid. No, not that good. Not because I'm just joining so-and-so caravan country. I'm just going there because my friends go there, so I'm going there. No. My main reason is, of course, I would like to go with my friend. I would like to go with my kafila. But my main reason is, I wanted to go for Umrah. But then I was looking for example, that if I get the right company, then I'll go. That's fine. But the main reason is still there, right? So keep that in mind. Or spend holidays, or sometimes say, okay, I'll say extra holidays. Instead of going to Switzerland, I'll go to Umrah. That also can be problems because that means you can see you are just going to spend your time. So no, I want to go to Umrah. I want to go to Rasulullah, right? But yeah, I will try to find, for example, time during holidays. I'll try to find other. It's a different thing. That means holidays and being in the company becomes secondary. So the primary reason should be we are going there for the sake of Allah, to seek nearness of Allah, the whole house, right? To seek forgiveness and to just have that kind of spiritual benefit for the pleasure of Allah. So that is important. And of course, I'm sure all of you will go to Medina. So keep this in mind. There's a lot of sawab of going to Medina. The Prophet himself says, whoever is going to visit me on the day of judgment, I will visit one who has performed my ziyarat or the ziyarat of anyone from my progeny. Subhanallah, Rasulullah is going to visit me. Now, what does that mean? You can imagine. It means that, God forbid, let's say I'm such a sinner that I will not go to Jannat. God forbid, let's say if I'm going to end in Jannah. But I did do ziyarat of Rasulullah. So a Prophet will not come to Jannah to visit me. What does that mean? That because of that, yes, because of my sins, I'll be put in Jannah, but eventually I will go to Jannah so Prophet can visit me. See, so keep in mind, there's such a way. Till I save him from the terrors of that day, it will be my duty to save them from their sins, right? So you can also help in this thing. On the day of judgment, I'll intercede for those who have come to my ziyarat, right? On the day of judgment, I will turn away from those who had come to Makkah for Hajj, but did not come to Medina for my ziyarat. Imagine how important it is. So do you see, so keep the niyat that yes, I am going there for Umrah, but I'm also going to go to Medina to visit Rasulullah, right? Because it's in the same country, I'll do that, right? Those who die in one of the two harams, that is Makkah or Medina, Prophet says, will be resurrected with the companions of Badr on the day of judgment. Subhanallah. God forbid, not that we want to die, but God forbid that somebody wants to die there. No? Then you'll be raised amongst Badriyun, people who were with Rasulullah at the time of Badr, you can imagine, right? The fifth Imam Baqir says, Ziyarat of Prophet is like performing purified Hajj with Rasulullah. Ziyarat of Rasulullah is like you are performing a purified or accepted. No, this I think this translation purified. I don't know. Maybe I was not. Maybe I might have done it what literal translation, but I would say accepted ziyarat. Right? It is accepted Hajj. That means if you perform ziyarat of Rasulullah, is like you are performing a Hajj which is accepted with Rasulullah. That is the kind of reward. Right? We go. Now, what do we decide in Medina? Of course, we will not get into detail, but just a few things I want to mention here because sometimes we tend to get carried away, right? Allah's Messenger says, one who comes to ziyarat of my grave after passing away is like one who is after my passing away. That means it's like one who has migrated to me during my lifetime. So visiting the Prophet after Wafat is like visiting the Prophet when he was alive. So if you cannot come for my ziyarat, convey your situation to me, for it is sure to reach me. So this is important, brothers and sisters. You are going to Medina. Maybe your friends, your family members say, do dua for us. Convey our salams to Rasulullah. Do that, because that salam reaches the Prophet. Right? You cannot go, but at least take the salam. Now, Amir ibn Abdullah said to Imam Sadiq al-Islam, I paid 2 to 3 extra gold coins to my camel carrier to take me through Medina. Now, imagine during those times, this carrier was going to Mecca. But this person, Amir, what he did, he gave gold coins, like extras, 3 gold, imagine those, so that he passes by Medina. Imam said to him, Amir, you did well. It was worth your time, worth your coins you gave, 3 coins, right? How easy this was for you. Imam says, no, giving 3 coins is nothing. How easy it was. That's not a big deal. What you are saying. How easy also. No? And now you can come to the grave of Rasulullah and say salam to him. Then Imam continued, where the Rasulullah hears your voice from nearby, and also he will be informed of you from far. So even when you are near, Assalamu alaikum, at every stage, you are in Medina, for example, you've done your zarat, or you don't have, for example, time. The moment you enter in Medina, Masjid Namaz, right, for Masjid Nabawi, every time just stand up. Without telling anybody, just stand up. You don't have to stand up. Of course, you can also stand, salam can also be said in the state of sitting. But just say out of respect, you stand up and just say Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum ya Nabi Allah, right? Just do that. No? And every time you do that, Prophet receives your salam. And he does not only receive your salam, he responds back. Subhanallah. Imagine how fortunate we are when Rasulullah says, Wa alaikum salam, or fulan, right? That means we are having his dua for us, right? Then there are ziyarat du'as, ziyarat are there you recite in the books. But just one line I brought here for discussion today, because sometimes we tend to get carried away. See, this is the ziyarat of Rasulullah taught by Imam Sadiq. In that line, he says at the end, Ya Muhammad inni atawajjahu ilallahi wa rabbi wa rabbuka bika liyaghfira li dhunubi. O Muhammad, right? I have turned to you, to Allah, your Lord and mine. Inni atawajjahu ilallah. My focus is what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, who is my Lord and also your Lord, right? Liyaghfira li, so that he, who Allah, forgives me, right? Dhunubi, he forgives my sins. So do you see this thing that we are going even to Medina? This is Medina. We are in Medina. We are in the presence of Rasulullah, his grave. Even the 6th Imam at that time is asking from Allah, not from Rasulullah. Do you see this thing? So sometimes we tend to forget the focus. We say, oh Prophet, give me this thing. Oh Prophet, give me this thing. Prophet will give you. He is generous, right? But how would it be that, Ya Allah, give me for the sake of your Prophet? That is the best. Right? This is what you can say Imam is doing. Imam knows better. Imam could have said, actually, Rasulullah was Prophet's great-grandfather. In fact, Imam Sadiq deserves more to ask from Rasulullah than me, right? Because for him, he was his great-grandfather. But even at that time, Imam Sadiq, he says, oh Allah, right? Oh Muhammad, yes, I have turned to Allah, right? I'm here, but I've turned to Allah, who is your Lord and my Lord. Through you, of course, for your sake, so that he forgives my sins. So, meaning, don't forget, asking for something, wanting something is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But for the sake of Prophet and his and of course his progeny. Make sure that we visit Fatima Zahra and Aima in Baki, right? Of course, there are a lot of restrictions. You can ask there the timings and other things. Sisters will not be allowed to go inside, right? So what you can do, that just as much far you can see what Baki, even stand from far, and you can visit even that. That is enough. When you are not allowed by the authorities, and if you do it for far, you get the same swab of being there. And brothers who go to Jannat al-Baqi, there are a lot of restrictions. They don't allow you to read Ziyat loudly. They don't allow you to say in a group. Follow those rules. Don't argue. Don't become excited and emotional and say, no, I have my right. I know we have the right, but we don't want to get into trouble with the authorities there. These people are sometimes so unreasonable that if you were to make a fuss, they are capable of closing this thing off for the entire group or for everything. They can do this. So it's better not to argue with them. Your intentions are there. If today there was permission was given, then we would visit maybe Fatima and Imam Hassan and Imam Zain al-Abidin and Imam al-Baqi and Imam Sadiq, right, who are in Medina. We would visit them exactly the way we do, for example, visit Imam Hussein, right, in Karbala. But those are restrictions. So keep that in mind. Now we come to experience Umrah, right? So you're finished, inshallah, your Medina, and you go Umrah. Spiritual experience, right, Umrah. We are in dire need of food for human soul because we live in a lot of materials. So this is one of the things, as they say. Keep this in mind, that why we are going to Umrah. There can be so many reasons you might have, but one thing is that in this world, we are all so much busy with our materials. We do a lot for our body's comfort, our food. We do a lot of things, right? But our soul, our ruh also needs some kind of food and giza, right? So one of them is by doing this Umrah, right? So that's one of the keep in mind. Umrah is the best time for spiritualism. Why? Number one, it is a cutoff from all routine, family and friends. Now, every time when I say this thing, people still don't understand. Cutoff means what? Cutoff means cutoff. Your family knows that you are going for Umrah. So if you don't, for example, WhatsApp them for a day, 2 days, until that time you finish Umrah, is it a big deal? Do you have to immediately WhatsApp them and check this is a time you're cutting off. Why don't you just WhatsApp Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? By keeping your mind. This kind of that we cannot do without our WhatsApp, and we have to let us cut off from all routine, family, and friends, right? Completely. And how long? We are just going for Umrah. Umrah is, for example, we are going to start Umrah, most probably, let's say in the evening. You'll do Ihram after Maghribain, you'll wear your Ihram. You'll be in Makkah, inshallah, early in the morning. And if everything goes well, right, you'll be done by 11 a.m. That's what normally my experience is. Things might have changed post-pandemic. So you're talking of, let's say that, Maghrib time is around 6 p.m. So you wear your Ihram after Maghribain, so the 7 p.m. 7 p.m. to 11 a.m., right, is how many? 11, another 4. You're talking of 15 hours, right? During that time, forget about all those things, right? Just cut off. So this is important. Try to show restrictions, right? There's so many restrictions around. All this is pointing to the same point, that Allah wants you to just concentrate on something else, not family and other materials, right? Connection with the origins of Islam. You are in Makkah, which is the origin of Islam. Every prophet, every imam, and perhaps so many prophets have been to this holy place, and so many awliya of Allah and great ulama, everybody, you are in that place. Now, think about that. There is another world besides ours. Once you are there, you'll see yourself, especially during Hajj, you'll find that there are so many people, and they are all of them doing tawaf and other things, for example, amal. You find that it's a different kind of world besides our own. So be in that world. Be in that special world you are. Don't be with your world back in Canada or UK or other places. No, be in that particular world you are, right? Sense of closeness to Allah subhanahu. See that what can I do to actually get nearer and closer to Allah subhanahu. So these are some of the experience keep in mind. Now we come to Umrah Mufridah. Okay, now we are starting the Masail part. Inshallah, it is already 3. I thought that I'll finish the story. I will go through this thing because this is important. So let's go through these things and I'll open for question and answer. So Umrah Mufridah, Ihram, right? Ihram is the first thing. So with Ihram comes 3 things. One is Niyat, Talbiyah, and wearing of Ihram. Wudu or ghusl, not condition of Ihram. So it is good to do ghusl before Ihram, but it's not a condition. Okay, so for male, 2 white pieces of clothes. Do not tie the loin cloth. No, don't tie it. Blanket allowed if swim provided. Do not cover the head. Now, for example, if sometimes it's so cold that these 2 pieces of cloth is too light for you, so you like to put something extra piece or a blanket or that is allowed, right? as long as, for example, you say that no, this it's not sewn, right? It is, if this blanket, if you put on it, then you do not cover your head. It's not stitched, right? Also using, for example, safety pin or clip to tie the two sides of the upper cloth is fine. Using money belt or even ordinary stitched belt to the waist cloth so that it does not come out is fine. It's allowed. Sistani allows that. You don't worry about it. No, normal belt you are used to, or even the belt is stitched, is all. For women, their own clothes is enough. Of course, they will try to change to white clothes. That's fine. This is Muslim, but they don't have to these two pieces of clothes. Just the normal clothes. You are comfortable with. You can wear, but maybe make sure this is not what modest clothes, right? For both men and women, ihram must remain tahir, pak throughout. It is so important. You're surprised that no, in namaz, certain najasat is exempted. For example, in namaz, if my cloth has the blood from my own body, and that blood is there's just a dot of blood. For example, it's so small, smaller than, for example, this back. This is my thumb, right? You can see this back of it. So almost like a quarter size, right? This, if there is a dot of blood on my cloth in namaz, which has come from my own body, is exempted in namaz. In ihram, that is not even exempted. Do you see this thing? So how important it is that in ihram, the clothes must remain pak. If it becomes najis, you can change it or you can immediately wash it. No? But it must remain pak. That is important. Try to have the knowledge of things which are forbidden, right? But of course, there are many things. What is important is for us looking at mirror, lying, swearing, quarreling, meant to avoid shade when traveling, removing of hairs, tooth, nails, and blood from the body. So these are just the things you should be aware of. Of course, there's a full list. So here is a list. For example, many years ago, I had gone to Hajj with Dr. Murtaza Alina. He had prepared these slides, so I told him to share with me, and I still have with me. So he has made all those things haram, right? So affection, beauty, ABC of haram. Affection, beauty, clothing, defense, and ethical, right? These are all the things which, of course, you can get in the books, but this is just in a slide, right? Talbiyah. So see, once you do the niyat that I'm wearing ihram for Umrah Mufridah, qurbatan ilallah, it's sunnat qurbatan ilallah or qurbatan ilallah. You can say wajib if you've done nazar. If you've done nazar, for example, that if certain things happens, I'm going to Umrah, this wajib. Otherwise, no, this Umrah Mufridah is mustab or just qurbatan ilallah, right? And then after doing the niyat, you will recite, you will already, before niyat, you already put the ihram. You'll just put the ihram, do the niyat, and then recite talbiyah, and then adjust again this ihram, right? So, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. Inna alhamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk, la sharika laka labbaik. So only there are two words. You can see this is one word. Yeah, if you take this word, this is the word which has the makhraj of ha, right? This is a word which is makhraj of ha, and so this is one, and then of course this ni'mat. So these two words which have to be careful in case those who are not careful about the makhraj. Otherwise, no, it's a very simple Arabic. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. Inna alhamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk, la sharika laka labbaik. It is important so much that you say it correctly that the Masala says that those who cannot say it correctly, they can even follow somebody to make sure that they are reciting it correctly. Okay? And the meaning, of course, we have put it very simple there. Here I am, O God, in your presence. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. You call me, here I am. So you can imagine this talbiyah itself brings that kind of sense that you are in the presence of Allah. As if Allah is not a body, but if He was there, as if you're in the presence. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Here I am saying you have no partner. Here I am, and just renewing my creed, right, of Tawheed. Labbaik la sharika lak. Here I am, that you have no partner, right? Whilst being in your presence. No, again I say. Now, inna alhamda wa ni'mata lak wal mulk. Surely all praise and favors are yours. Alhamda here means all praise. Everything whatever praise in this world, Allah deserves most, right? One ni'mat, all blessings are from you, right? Laka, this belongs to. One mulk, even the sovereignty kingdom is yours. So you can see, in other words, oh Allah, I am just a servant of yours. You are the owner of this world, you are the owner of this universe, you are owner of the things also which I have. Even the money which I spent, the clothing I'm wearing, everything I'm doing is yours, Ya Allah. You can see it's a very a sense of showing that humility in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Labbaik la sharika labbaik. La sharika lak labbaik. You have no partner, here I am. So it is very good. It is recommended to repeat the talbiyah as much as possible, especially after every obligatory prayer, while getting on or off the vehicle, while ascending or descending in the plane, if you're going to fly, for example, from Medina to Mecca, at the time of dawn, early morning, men alone, not women, should say talbiyah loudly. Women can also say talbiyah, but they should not raise their voice. But men should do it loudly. And of course, continue this till you see the houses of all Mecca. So once you are going by bus or, for example, train, you can ask the driver, if you already entered the all Mecca, right? They said yes, then you can stop saying talbiyah. Okay? After wearing the haram at Masjid al-Shajara, you can go back to Medina if you want to go, for example, fly to Jeddah, or you want to take a train to Mecca, or you want to take, for example, so you're allowed to go back, And then, but keep in mind that men should refrain from traveling under a cover which is haram, it's not allowed, right? So you must travel at that case at night or when it is not raining. So keep that in mind if you go there. Tawaf. Wudu is a requirement. So here wudu is a must. Wudu is required for tawaf as well as for salat of tawaf. No? Although umrah is mustahab, but once you wear haram, tawaf, salat of tawaf, sa'i, taksir, tawaf nisa, and salat become wajib. Okay? So keep that in mind. Earlier it was mustahab, but once you're doing it, you cannot go out. So it is wajib. Okay? Keep that in mind. Be careful about the number of rounds. Make sure that you don't mistake. There are all kinds of complications about it, which we won't get just now into it. But make sure that you are not getting about it. So you can keep a counter or something else, whatever is there. Different ways of just running yourself. Trading between rush and distance. This is more for Hajj. I understand that now because of post-pandemic, there is less rush. Being a little bit of Hajar, we begin before Hajar Aswad and end little after Hajar Aswad as one round. Okay, keep that. Please, some of you, can you please mute your mic? Okay. So when you start your round, just start before Hajar Aswad, and the 7th round should end little after Hajar Aswad to make sure that you have done correctly. Do not be carried away by the crowd. Sometimes there's so much crowd that we get pushed by it or carried away. Try to maintain your cool and try to maintain your focus, right? Be as calm as possible. It will soon end. Anything in the life has started will come to end. So try to be soon. Try to recite a lot of dhikr. If assisting someone, let's say if you are taking your mother, or your old father, your old aunt, right? The best thing is you go with her, finish your tawaf, or even your umrah or your tawaf at least, and then take him or her. Keep that in mind. You cannot say, okay, I'm also taking my mother and also doing my tawaf at the same time. No, it will be difficult because then your focus will be more to take care that your mother is doing properly. So the best advice is you finish yours. It's similar, like, for example, we are told, right, that when you are assisting somebody in the plane to wear the mask, so you wear your own mask and then make your child wear the mask, right? If there is, for example, less oxygen. Salat. 2 rakat salat, like morning prayers, after tawaf, immediately after tawaf, it should be as near to Maqam Ibrahim as possible. Now, I've not been to Umrah after pandemic, so I don't know what kind of restrictions are there, but try to see as much as possible. Ensure that you're out of tawaf area. Don't try to be so near Maqam Ibrahim that you are in the way of tawaf. Every time you'll be disturbed because they'll come and push you. That also should not be the case, right? Be ready to be pushing during salat. Yes, but at the same time, You'll, of course, experience a lot of push. So be ready for that. Don't lose your temper. Know, for example, who has passed comments that these people are discourteous or uncivil that are doing this thing. Have a partner to stand next to you when you are praying. This is, for example, more in Hajj. I think the situation may have changed post-pandemic. No? Umrah Mufridah Sa'i, right? Wudu, not again requirement. So wudu is only required for tawaf and salat. In say, if you have wudu, fine, but if it breaks, it's not required. Okay? Can be interrupted if salat of tawaf, if tawaf, salat of the abnad. Yeah. If you are doing sa'i and you remember that, oh, I did not say my namaz properly, or I didn't do tawaf properly. So you can break that sa'i, go back and perform your tawaf, or go back and do your salat, and then continue. You can do the salat. No need to climb the hilltops, especially when there is a lot of rush. Sometimes what happens that no, as you're doing sa'i, it starts from the hilltop and going down, and then again hilltop, right? So at the end, there is a lot of rush. So people try to still go all the way. There is no need. As long as you reach the end, you can just turn back. No? So there is no need to climb the hilltops. If you can do it, fine, but because of rush, if you want to avoid, that's fine. Men to hasten between the green pillars, try to do harwala. That means you are just as if you are jogging, right? This is just for men. Recite recommended and beautiful du'as. I mean, there are beautiful du'as in the books you'll find as you are doing sa'i. Recite them. They are really powerful du'as. And this is your part of ibadah, no? So try to see if you can do that. No? Do not delay it to the next day of tawaf. No? Of course, nowadays you can't do it, but if you just do it immediately after that. No? Now we come to taksir. Better to cut hair than nail. People sometimes just cut nail. Atul says that if you have to cut only nail, then you first do little hair, then cut the nail. But it has to. So better to cut hair from. You can take hair from the head, from the beard, or from mustache. Now this is for men, right? Okay. Cutting off hair is necessary, not simply pulling the hair. It's cutting it. No? So you cannot say, oh, I forgot my scissors, so I just pulled my hair. You can't do that. Okay. Cutting is necessary. Can be done back at the residence hotel. Example, this is more to do with Hajj and other things, but it's not necessary that you must do there. You can also, example, residence hotel, or go come out and do it. Ladies to be very careful not to bare their heads before the Ghair Mahram when we're cutting the hair. For example, if you are doing you're reaching at Marwa, for example, finish your tawaf, sa'i at Marwa, and then you just open your scarf and start cutting. Be careful because there may be non-mahram there. Okay? So that's very important. Be careful about that. Ask someone else who is not in ihram to do taksir on you. Okay? So let's say you go as a group, 5-6 people. All of you are in ihram. So one main person in your group will ask a local person there. You may take, for example, one dinar, 1 riyal, take and say, okay, can you just help me in doing my taksir? You do the niyat and do it. So once he has done taksir on you, then you can take the same about a Caesar and do taksir on all those who are mahram. Or for example, or if I'm not mahram, then the one who's mahram can do the not mahram. Okay. Secondly, after this, you are free from items forbidden haram except for 2 things: sexual relation and perfume. So those 25 things, 23 becomes allowable except for these 2 things. Of course, try to rest well when you go back after your Umrah. So then, as long as you're Makkah, you can try to enjoy doing other things, in Makkah, ibadat, or being in the Masjid al-Haram, right? Perform mustab tawaf as many as possible. Of course, this is not possible nowadays. Tawaf mustab is what recommended, but because of just now post-pandemic, I understand that you are not allowed to go there for mustab tawaf. You can only go if you are going for Umrah. Otherwise, you will not be allowed to go. This is only before pre-pandemic now. Okay, and this is now Umrah Mufridah, Tawaf, Nisa, and Salat thereafter. See? So after Taksir, you do Umrah Mufridah, Tawaf, and Nisa, and Salat after that. This is also wajib, keep in mind. So in Hajj Tamattu, Umrah Tamattu, there are 5 things, but in Umrah Mufridah, there are 7 things. The 6th is Tawaf and Nisa, and Salat thereafter. The same as Tawaf, but Niyat is Tawaf Nisa. You can use the same haram clothes or change to normal clothes that meet the condition of saying prayer. But keep in mind, as see the note below, right? This can be done immediately after Taksir or later, but within a day or night. Wudu required for both Tawaf and Salat. Okay? Other conditions of tawaf also apply. Post-pandemic, now this is, I'm telling you now, this is something new. Post-pandemic, only people performing Umrah are permitted to be in the Mataf area. Mataf area is all that area near Khane Kaaba where people do tawaf. All that huge area, right? That is known as Mataf. I understand, I've not been there. I understand that post-pandemic, only those who have done, who are doing Umrah, who are wearing Umrah Ihram clothes are allowed to be in that area. So in that case, after you finish, for example, Taksir, since you still have Ihram, is the best thing that you can rest, for example, for some time, but can finish your Umrah, Tawaf Nisa and Tawaf. Okay, so keep this in mind. This is a beautiful zikr which I found. If you can remember it, and as I said that the slides will be there, you can download it, you can put on your phone, you are welcome. Now, for example, the 4th Imam Sujad al-Islam was once had gone for Umrah Tamattu. Somebody came near him and saw that what he was reciting. He went to Sajda and recited this beautiful dua. Now, أَظِمَ الذَّنْبُ مِنْ إِنْدِكَ فَلْيَحْسُنْ الْعَفْوُ مِنْ إِنْدِكَ. Right? Now, sorry, أَظِمَ الذَّنْبُ مِنْ عَبْدِكَ فَلْيَحْسُنْ الْعَفْوُ مِنْ عَبْدِكَ. Right? Oh Allah, now your servant's sin has become enormous. So it will be gracious of you to pardon him. No? That my sins are huge, but you are also great. So how good will be that no, your pardoning also is so good. No? So it's just one sentence. As you are, you finish your tawaf or you're doing this thing, try to recite this thing in sajda. No? So this is what Imam used to recite. Okay. This is just try to show that since you are going on this trip, if you can make sure that you don't miss out what Salat al-Layl, Tahajjud Salat. So we have a booklet you can download on this on Islam.org, or you can go to Google app or iTunes and just go and download what app, Tahajjud Salat, you can get it. Now in closing points, these few points before I open for questions, Alhamdulillah, download the following book on your tablet. This book is good. This is the book. If you have this book, fine. It's known as, though you can see, Hajj and Umrah Made Easy, right? This book. But we have posted on our website. So the same course, Ali 645. If you go to our website, Ali 645, you can download this book, okay, and read the section on Umrah, Umrah Tamattu and Umrah Mufridah. Just read those two sections. That is enough, right? It will help you. Thank you for registering for this course, right? In this course, we have also other courses. We welcome you to look at our current courses and see if you can register. We also would like to thank all of you who, while registering, also gave their donations, right? Those who are Canadian cities, residents, please let us know. We will also can give you a tax receipt as long as the donation is more than $20. If the donation is more than $20, then you get your tax receipt, right? Or you can just go to this website, donate, you'll get receipt automatically if you are Canadian resident. So with that, I will now open up for questions. So what I would like is that just to maintain some kind of decency is that try to ask the most important question you have, for example, and then you will get a chance again if others have no questions. Okay? We want to give a chance to everybody. So think about the question which you really want to ask. Just raise your hand and unmute yourself, and you can start asking questions. Bismillah. If you don't want to ask, you can also chat. You can put the question in the chat, and I don't mind, I'll read it. No. Okay, so we have Brother Murtaza to start with, and then we got, after that, somebody, IPad, I don't know who's that. Okay. Brother Murtaza, go ahead, Bismillah. You unmute yourself? Yes, Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
My question is that when we are doing tawaf, if you break your wuzu during the tawaf, what is the masail for that? And the other thing is that for people who have a problem with urine and things like that, how do we deal with that if they cannot hold it for all that time? Is there any masail for that?
Yeah. Okay. These are good questions. These are detailed things in this book. That's why I said, please download this book. It will help you. But very briefly, I'll just give you a brief answer. Is that if your wuzu breaks, in the first 3.5, or maybe in the first 4 rounds during that time, anytime during that time, so you have to just abandon your tawaf, go and renew your wudu, okay, and do the entire tawaf. If it breaks, on the 5th round and the 6th round or 7th round, then you go and you can just abandon your tawaf, renew your wudu, and continue from the 5th round, from the 5th and 6th, so you can just continue from there. For example, let's say it happened at the end of 5th round, so you can just do 6th and 7th round. If it happened end of the 6th round, you can do the 7th round. But before 4, you have to start from again. So now, of course, mind it that it will be difficult for you to go all the way to find a wudu place, right? And Ayatollah Sistani does not even allow to use the water of Zamzam, which is there for drinking, to use for wuzu. So the best thing is on our website, if you go on Google or also our website, there is, if you go to Google, just like performing wudu with spray bottle. We have a video there, performing wudu with a spray bottle. So use that and just renew your wudu and continue. Coming to the inconsistency problem, people who are seniors and have problems, for example, of these inconsistencies, they cannot control the urine. Okay, so what will happen is that first of all, they're allowed to also wear pads. Such people who have problems like this, they can put on the pads, even if the pads are stitched, they will be allowed to that. Okay? So they will put the pads on and perform their tawaf. And then after the tawaf, they should try to go and change the pad and then again have a fresh pad before namaz. Okay, so keep that in mind. So but they don't have to break their tawaf. They can continue. Even, for example, they know that maybe some drop might have come out or something like this. So they'll do it the same way in namaz. Once they start the namaz, and if it happens, then at the end of namaz, that's fine. So this is a special cases, they're allowed. Keep in mind. But of course, you have to make due provisions. For example, that means you know that, okay, after tawaf, I have to go, so immediately keep another pad ready, and somebody should lead you to where the nearest washroom is there, go there and just change and do this thing. Yes, I don't know, is this F, iPad, Bismillah. Yes, go on. Somebody who says Jan Muhammad. Go ahead, Bismillah.
I just wanted to ask you that when we do the first Umrah, we do the niyat, and we would have done the niyat for everyone, like from Prophet Adam to like all your nearest ones and all that. So when you want to do the second Umrah, can you do the niyat again, or that's not allowed?
Okay, if you do the second Umrah within the time you are there, so first of all, you have to go to Masjid Aisha or Masjid Tan'im to wear ihram. Okay, one thing.
Yes.
Secondly, it has to be in another Islamic month, not the same month. If it is the same month, then you have to do the different niyat. Okay, so keep these 2 points. If it's a different niyat, then fine, you can have second Umrah done within a month. But if you want to do Umrah again for yourself or the same niyat as you said, as first, it has to be a second Islamic month. It cannot be the same Islamic month. And for you to wear the ihram, you don't need to go all the way back to Medina or to Masjid al-Jawfa, or you just go to Masjid al-Tan'im or Masjid al-Aisha, which is not far. Any taxi will take you there. You can renew your niyat and wear ihram and go there. Now, I don't know post-pandemic what are the restrictions. I don't know about it. My apologies. I did write to a brother who was there. I wrote to him. I said that please, any advice you have, but he has not replied back now. Let me see in the chat if there are any questions. Okay.
Thank you.
There is no place to change pad in haram. Of course, there is no change. No, I'm not saying that in haram. You have to go to the washroom, of course. We have to, of course, when it comes to changing of pad, we have to go to the washroom, right? That's why I'm saying that what you have to do is that before starting your tawaf, the best thing is that just ask somebody, raise the nearest washroom from here. So you know that you may need it. So after tawaf, because this person must be a senior, so let this person senior be led by somebody to the washroom. He or she can go there and change the pad. Tawaf during Umrah is 7 rounds, followed by 2 rakat namazis. Is Tawaf Nisa just same thing? Tawaf Nisa also same thing. 7 rounds, Tawaf. There is no difference between Tawaf Nisa and Umrah. Only difference is niyat. And of course, in the Tawaf Nisa, because since you don't taksir, so other things are not haram. That's the only difference. Is Umrah, is first Umrah is normally for self or can be done for him? Good question, yeah. Is the first Umrah for the self? Or no, Umrah is Muslim, right? So you can do it for yourself. You can include also other people's niyat. That's fine. Allah is generous. If you include others, Allah also will give you a reward. There's nothing wrong. You can include other people's niyat. What are the rules of following if you go to Umrah with a years-old child? Oh boy, 3 years old child. I don't know, but the child would not be required to wear the haram. That's only what I know. That the child will not be required to wear haram. So then, of course, since he or she does not wear haram, then of course those things are not applicable to the child. Your raise hand again, so I'll ask other first. Okay, I'll give the opportunity to others before I can come back to Jana. Yes, Fatma Kalfan, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Ahsan,
Jazakallah khair. Very informative session, Jazakallah. My question is, I'm told recently there are apps that we need to download in order to go for Umrah. So even if we have already performed Umrah and day 2, we just want to go for Tawaf, we are not allowed to unless we sign in that app as if we are going to Umrah. So people say just sign in every day as if you're going for Umrah, and that is how they are going to allow you. Is that permissible?
I saw this question recently. Somebody sent me from Florida, and he had questioned this to Maulana Rizvi and copied it to me. I don't know what Maulana answered. No, perhaps you can ask me. But I would say, you see, let me tell you one thing, that these rules are man-made rules, okay? But at the same time, they have made these rules for some kind of reasons. There is some wisdom in it. They want to do these things to maintain some kind of decorum, decency, that everybody gets a chance. So if you try to circumvent these rules, it may not be appropriate. I'm not saying it's haram, but ethically it may not be appropriate. This is the best maximum I can say this time. But as I said, that somebody from Florida had sent this question to Maulana Rizvi, so you can ask what Maulana has to say. But my personal would be that, that as much as possible, let's not try to circumvent the rules. Because there must be some good reason for that. Keep in mind that all this time these things were closed. Alhamdulillah, now they're open. There were so many restrictions have been removed. Right? So things are getting better. So just take that as it. So to circumvent the rules or cheat the rules and do certain things ethically is not appropriate. But because they are man-made rules, so we can't say it's haram. Any other questions? Let me see if there's some question in the chat. No, there is no sayyah for Tawaf Nisa. Tawaf Nisa, and there are 7 things wajib in Umrah Mufridah. Wearing of ihram, which is accompanied with niyat and talbiyah, number 1. Number 2 is Tawaf. Number 3 is namaz of Tawaf. Number 4 is sa'i. Number 5 is taksir. Number 6 is Tawaf Nisa. Number 7 is namaz of Tawaf Nisa. Only these 7 things are wajib. Okay, so there is no sa'i after Tawaf Nisa. Good, yeah. That's right, Sister Nargis. No permits are needed for Umrah anymore. That has stopped. Yeah, yesterday somebody did text me. I'm a member of this Canadian Council of Imams. So last night I sent a message to them that I'm doing a presentation tomorrow. So one of the brothers said the same thing, that there is no needed, for example, to book for the Umrah. So alhamdulillah, that's good. That's a good news. Any other questions?
He's not given us time.
Yes, so Jan Omas, you can, Orlando, Jan, go ahead, Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
I have a two-part question. One is taharat necessary during sa'i? Or if there is any najasat, do we have to change and make it tahir before we complete the sahi? The second one is, if the month, Islamic month changes, even if it is not 29 or 30 days, can we do a second ihram and do a second umrah for ourselves?
So yes, for sa'i, there is no tawaf required, except that make sure that your haram does not become najis. If somebody is wearing, for example, a pad and becomes najis, and that najasat has not touched the haram, then fine, you are safe for sa'i. Okay, don't worry about it. Coming to your question, yes, if during the time you are there, and during that time the month changes from, let's say just now, we are going through the month of Rabiul Awwal, right? Let's say that you are said that at the end of Rabiul Awwal and then Rabiul Akhir starts. So yes, you can do the second umrah, the same niyat, your niyat, or whatever niyat was first, you can do that. Because now it is second Islamic month, different Islamic month, so you can do that. Yeah, very good question. How salat is prayed behind an imam in Makkah? Subhanallah, what I will do, I will not answer this question, but there is a slide we have here. Let me see if you have it, if you can follow it, fine, because it is a, yeah, here it is. Okay, so if you can just follow these things, and if you have a question, then ask me. These are the slides on saying namaz behind the non-Shia imam in the two holy places. I'll just give 1 minute. You can go through this thing, and then the next slide also. I'll do. Just Sister Fatima, or since you already asked questions, I'll wait for others to ask questions. Okay. Okay, so the next slide is this one. Go through this thing. If you don't understand, then you can ask the question. And again, these slides will be available on our website. Okay, the same. You go to a course, just download, and you are most welcome to download these slides and put on your phone, on your pad, and take it with you. That's fine. So anybody has a question regarding saying the Jamaat behind a Sunni Imam in the Haramain? Any clarification you need? So, yes. Since nobody has come forward, Sister Fatima, you can ask your question. Bismillah. Anybody has questions?
Couple of them are in the chat.
Oh, sorry. Because I don't see the new. I'll answer that. Salam, we cannot do the tawaf nisa if you have not done taksir. Salam, can you do? We cannot do tawaf nisa. Yes, it has to follow what you have to do. You have to follow the tartib, taksir, then tawaf nisa. How is salat prayed by hand? That's what we answer, right? So yes, you have to follow this again. The 7, as I said. First is niyat of ihram and wearing of ihram and talbiyah, right? This goes together. Niyat, talbiyah, ihram. So what you should do, wear the ihram, pieces of ihram. Let's say that all of you are going to go to Masjid al-Shajara. So what I suggest that you do wear ihram in your hotel in Medina. Then go to Masjid al-Shajara. Once you reach there, you finish Maghribain prayers. After that, you do the niyat of what? Of wearing ihram. Then recite talbiyah. Then just adjust your ihram slightly as if you are wearing it, as if you are tightening. So that will work first thing, that end the process. Then of course, when you reach Makkah, there'll be tawaf, and then namaz. But before tawaf and namaz, make sure your wuzu is there. Then there'll be sa'i, right? Then there'll be taksir, then tawaf nisa, and again tawaf. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Razabai.
Question for you, that if circumstances don't allow us to wait until it's past Maghrib to leave Medina in Ihram to go towards Makkah, right? So if we have to, let's say, for example, leave at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Then what are the consequences? Basically, the idea is if we leave by 3 p.m., get to Masjid al-Shajara, and then from Masjid al-Shajara, where we'll do the niyat, will be after Maghrib. But yes, when we leave Medina, we will be in our ihrams.
Oh, no, you won't do the niyat. No, yes, that's fine. When you leave Medina hotel 3 p.m., 4 p.m., don't worry, don't do the niyat. That wearing of ihram is not actually part of Umrah. You are just wearing ihram because of two reasons. One is that you want to avoid wearing ihram there and doing ghusl there. It may be dirty, for example, like this, right? So that is it. And secondly, of course, you are just wearing ihram, you don't have to take your clothes there and change everything. But that wearing of ihram in a hotel in Medina does not count.
So there's no kafara against...
No kafara at all. No, because you're not done the niyat. Kafara only starts after you do the niyat and tarbiyah.
So if we leave after Maghrib from Masjid Shajara by doing the niyat, then we are okay.
Yeah, safe. And that's how it should be. All of you should try. Even if it means, for example, you give extra money to your driver, say, no, we want to leave after Maghrib. And the advantage of doing after Maghrib is that even you don't need to do sunnat namaz before tawaf. There's sunnat namaz before tawaf, which you don't need because you already said Maghrib namaz in Masjid al-Shajara. You get the sawab of that, and then you leave after that.
Okay, thank you.
Can we follow arms and should we skip qunut at Taqiyya? No, don't fold your arms. That's not allowed. But of course, you can skip qunut. Keep in mind that not all Sunnis fold their arms. Okay, number one. Number two, you only are allowed to fold your arms for Taqiyya. Taqiyya, that means your life is in danger. Not Taqiyya in the sense that, you're counted as a Sunni there or you're just joining the group. No, that will not be. Plus, keep in mind that not all Sunnis close their arms. There are Sunnis who also keep their hands open. Okay, so don't do that. No, don't do that. If your life is in danger, it's different. So you're working in Saudi Arabia and then you have a job, and then, for example, if you go to a local masjid there, and if they know that you are a Shia, then is a different thing. But no, not in Makkah and Medina, they know. In fact, the authorities know that there are thousands of Shias who are coming. In fact, already when you are coming from here, when you go to your visa, they know that you are a Shia already. So you don't need to do that. Okay. No, sorry, we don't email PowerPoints. You can just download. It will be posted on our website. You will be, because there are 45 people who are registered. Now, if I start emailing everybody, they'll increase the work. So what will happen is that we will post this, inshallah, by tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Tomorrow is a holiday here in Canada, but we'll just send it to Webmaster. He is going to post this on inshallah website. So just look at our website and the same Ali 645. You'll find the slides are there and you can download free. You can just do that. Okay. Do you have a link to this slide? So again, yeah, it's Ali 645. The link is same as this one. Let me show you. The link will be same as this one. So this is the link. Okay. Do you see this? Akal Islam, Ali 645. Where we have kept this book, we'll also going to post each other slides there. Okay, you can just download from there. Any other questions? Okay, so if you have no more questions, then by the way, we have not stopped recording. So alhamdulillah, these things have been recorded, including the question and answers. I forgot to ask for permission for that. I hope you don't have any problems about that. Otherwise, we'll cut off that area, that part. So the slides will also be there. Also, the recording will be there, inshallah, on our website. You're welcome to download. Any other questions? Okay, so please, we request you to don't forget us in your du'as when you go there.